Today I got this new broken device. It is car multimedia, original Volkswagen multimedia. It has problem. It starts fine, but all of a sudden the speakers have like rush of electricity into them. Very strange noise is produced and multimedia shuts down. So this is one of the examples. It was on, then off, and it was seemingly a random thing. Now, some of the possible problems were different, but as we will see later in the video, solution was found on the forum, and it was MCU chip. If I remember correctly, that was not soldered properly, or solder corrections were not of high standard. Since it was produced in 2012, it has seen some road use, so maybe that is something that affected those 4142 connectors that were soldered from the chip to the main board. So in order to fix this problem, I followed those instructions. In this first part we are going to watch disassembly process. If someone will need disassembling instructions, and later on we are going to see forum and solution for this problem. Now, if error occurs again, I will then make part 2, and this will be part 1. Okay, so at this part I did not know how to disassemble this. There are two screws that are holding the heat block, and you need a longer screwdriver in order to access it and remove it, and then you can disassemble everything. Now this is the forum on which person that sent me this device found the possible solution. Since I tested everything on the board, I was not able to find anything wrong with any component on the board. For example, capacitors, condensators, and so on and so on. Everything was tested, conductivity, ground, if it was shorted, and so on. And now this was the last step that I took. Person found solution. It was actually chip on the main board, and we will see which one. So this small chip here was the problem. Now, reasons for this chip to make problems are many, but probably from vibrations from driving, soldering points were desoldered or they had micro cracks, and errors would occur when the chip is heated. Also, there is possibility that chip itself has some problems, and that while heating chip and area around chip in order to resolder those soldering points, chip was also fixed with that heat temporarily, or maybe for a longer time, for example 6 months, 3 months, or maybe a year. So I am now adding flux, and I will not add any new solder paste. I have it, but the reason for that is because equipment for taking up the chip is on the way, and I don't have it this time around. And also this soldering, there is too many soldering corrections around there, and if I add any extra soldering on the already existing one in order to refresh it, I will not be legs will connect between each other. So I decided only to use flux to clean it, to use flux and to clean it, and to repeat that process. I increased temperature from 200 Celsius to 400 or 450 Celsius, and I was able to see the difference in coloration of solder on those soldering points, which indicated to me that it was remelted and solidified again. Now I have repeated this process. I also cleaned whole setup, every PCB with alcohol. I removed any irregularities, and I think that may be one of the reasons also. Maybe some dead bug was inside and so on, and it made short connections. But in this case, probably this chip is at fault, and as last resort, I decided to resolder this chip. Now, if this problem was not resolved by doing this step, I would remove the chip from the board. I would add new solder paste, and then I would return back the chip. And again, if the problem continued again, I would then order a new chip from the internet and install it in this old chip's place. And those are part 2 and part 3 of this repair, if this one does not work for a long time or long enough. And long enough is 5 to 10 years. Now this multimedia is way better than any bootleg multimedia, Android tablet multimedia that I have seen online. It has many more options than those ones, so it would be a shame not to have this original multimedia in such a nice car. because many functionalities that it offers will disappear with it also. So again, I am reassembling everything, double checking connections and so on. Okay, so this is testing. I tested this with the customer, and this is his testing when he was left alone. He's turning on and off the car and looking if multimedia is going to start regularly from the place where it was when it was shut down. So it works fine now. Now this is second day since it was installed and everything works as it should. So problem is probably fixed with this multimedia. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Best regards.